Hello and welcome back everybody to Everlasting Summer. So this Uljana route is taking turns. I am actually pretty interested in. Maybe very interesting, or maybe I'm just reading stuff into things that are actually not true. We'll see about that. So let's go on, shall we? I might have, but you see how things turned out. We won't have a chance to see who is the better dancer. We approached the library. It was already dark outside. I was slightly surprised by Olga's request, or more like an order, to sort the books at night. Yeah, this is actually really bizarre. Maybe the cat girl is actually Olga. Olga is directing everything, and the cat girl is Olga, and therefore she tries to get everyone together. I don't know. Jesus, so much speculation again. There was no light inside, and the switch didn't work, unpleasantly clicking with every push. It might have actually worked properly, but the lights weren't turning on. Wait, I'll get candles. How do you know where candles are? I mean, on the other hand, she knows everything, seemingly, at least it seems like that. I was just about to ask how she knows where the candles and matches are. Sometimes, you know, the last few episodes I said a lot of bad things about Semyon, but sometimes we're swinging the exact same way. Sometimes it's bad that English is not my mother tongue. I wouldn't say so much stupid shit. When two small lights appeared on the table next to me. That's better, Uljana said, satisfied with herself. What's next? What's what next? What? She looked at me inquiringly. What will we do next? How should I know? She chuckled. Great. I walked around the bookcases. Olga said something about a couple of shelves. I touched the books and made sure that there was no dust on them. It looks like someone did a really good job before us. Having examined the whole library, I didn't find anything to clean. The leader must have made a mistake. Suddenly I heard footsteps from behind. The old cracked floor was squeaking, so Uljana wasn't able to sneak up on me unnoticed. Boo! I turned around. Oh my god, I'm so scared, please. Oh, whatever. She turned away resentfully. It looks really clean in here, so... The dimly illuminated rows of books looked at me reproachfully. Unknown authors from long-forgotten years. I wonder if anyone still remembers them. Ah, yeah. What was the letter for her name again? It's not pronounced Xenia, I learned that as well. What was it again? Which letter? Wasn't it? Genia. Must remember. I'm sure that she remembers everything. Okay, sit down. Uljana moved a chair over to me. I sat on it. So, what's next? Let's tell scary stories to each other. We have 2 chairs and 2 candles, so there should be 2 stories, one mine and one yours. I think that maybe that's something you do in Russia, but I know of some Japanese ritual where you do that. But maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I agreed without thinking. I hadn't the slightest intention of going back to the dance, and going by my experience, there was nothing to do in the night at camp, or the other way around in the camp at night. Especially as I knew a couple of nice stories which would be able to really scare Uljana. You're such a dick, Semyon. And that was awesome. You're such a dick, Semyon. She's 14. I mean, okay, you're not a child really anymore with 14, but come the fuck on, you're 24. You should be at least a little bit more like an adult, you know? You first. Okay. Oh, that's actually a nice picture. I like that one. She made herself comfortable, embraced the chair's back with her arms and moved the candle as close to her face as possible. Once upon a time, in a village far away, lived a boy. Just a normal boy. He went to school, played with other children. There was nothing special about him. One day he made a bet with his friend that he wasn't scared to go to the abandoned house. Uljana left a long pause. So, what was in that house? Don't interrupt me. Inventing it on the fly. She pouted her lips and continued. They say a witch have lived in that house, and people still see her ghost there in the night. Nobody knew for sure, but everybody was scared. The boy had said that it was all nonsense, and he was ready to spend the whole night in there. So he did, but he didn't return in the morning. He was found hanged. Uljana stopped talking again. Thrilling. That was really not good. Did he hang himself with his shoelaces? I said skeptically. She frowned again. Is that the end? Of course not. They buried the boy, the way it was supposed to be, the coffin and stuff. His relatives and friends grieved, but they couldn't bring him back. After a few days, people started to disappear in the village. Nobody knew how or why. They just vanished into thin air. The villagers wanted to call the police, but a friend of that boy who hanged himself in the witch's house told them that he had seen the boy. Nobody believed him at first, but people kept on disappearing. Then the villagers decided to dig up the coffin. There were long nail scratches on the inside of the lid, but there was no body. Where did he go? Uljana moved the candle away from her and made a scary face, or at least what she thought was scary. In the end, all of the villagers disappeared, and occasional passers by near the witch's house tell that they saw 2 ghosts. Uljana blew out her candle and stopped talking. It looked like the story was finished. Wonderful. Thank you. Ironic applause, everybody. Well, that story was really not good. Not quite Pulitzer Prize worthy, but I don't think... Do you know that in the Soviet Union? I mean, it's American. It is American, isn't it? I only know it from The Simpsons. How does Semyon know it? I mean, okay, Semyon is from modern-day Russia. Maybe he knows it, but still. I don't know if Uljana knows it. That is the point. Are you scared? Frightened? Oh, I'm just shivering all over. Oh, whatever. Tell your story then. I'm sure I won't even flinch. I collected my thoughts and decided to tell a story I had read on the blog of an acquaintance of mine a few months back. He was quite a good storyteller. At least I liked his style, so success was guaranteed. I certainly didn't remember the story word for word, so I told it with my own words. There is a faraway space station, the last boundary of humanity, located on the border with a hostile civilization. The 3rd month of the ceasefire. The music is not really scary, it sounds more like... I don't know, strange, basically. It can be really called a ceasefire, more like not a war. A small group of survivors is exhausted by a long siege. On one hand, they can't retreat, leaving the outpost. On the other, they understand that they won't last even a minute if the enemy attacks. Despair is the best word to describe their situation. The food is running out, there is ammo only for a few shots, which will only seem like greeting fireworks. There's only plenty of air and water, owing to the regeneration systems. People didn't talk to each other for weeks at a time. They may just not see the point of wasting their time on communication, while death is at the door. Or behind meters thick station armor, to be precise. That is probably some science fiction book, I don't know. I'm sure of it. It is really better just to wait for the rescue, or enemies attack. Both outcomes will lead to the same end of this torture. The situation looks like a chess game against an invisible opponent. It's the hardest part, endgame. Any wrong move will lead to defeat, yours or your enemies. But does the enemy know about it? They may be afraid of making a wrong move too. Meanwhile, the humans may move their king, but only 1 square forward and then 1 square back again. Any other move will automatically lead to the defeat. A step forward is an implied threat to attack, and a step backward is the deliberate necessity of defense. The game would be much easier if the opponent was sitting in front of you. Even an experienced chess player can't hide nervous eye movements, the occasional drop of sweat or shaky hands. On the one hand, everything is futile. Everyone realizes that the situation is hopeless because no one would decide to make a move to escape the imminent defeat. On the other hand, when seeing the opponent in front of you, understanding that he is totally like you and can make a mistake, you can more easily stake everything. The opponent may feel the same difficulties. These are the circumstances of the few men and women on the edge of the universe. There was no orders from headquarters for several days. I bet she's sleeping when he's done, though the last orders had contained nothing useful, only the usual demand to keep on defending. 1 square forward, 1 square backward. the swinging of an internal pendulum. At the beginning of the 4th month, the commander decided to retreat. He reasons that the lives of his soldiers are more important than the mythical ideals of humanity. No one will judge him for this. Moreover, they can't change anything. The preparations don't take much time. The greatest asset you can save from a sinking ship is your life. The whole station crew board the rescue vessel. The launch sequence starts. 3, 2, 1, and nothing. The bay doors don't open. They send mechanics to check the malfunctions, but they don't find anything. The doors should open, but they don't open the 2nd time, or the 3rd time. The commander orders his crew to leave the station and rescue pods, but they can't launch either. They explain it is a technical malfunction. The crew tries to communicate with headquarters in vain. After a few days, the executive officer notices that there is nothing on the radars. Nothing at all. No planets, no asteroids, no enemy ships. Just an endless darkness. Jesus, are we finally at the horror story of the part? At the horror part of the story? I mean, Jesus, it's Simeon, it's hot there. You have to entertain me. They ran out of food in a month. Everybody thinks that this is the end. But no one dies. Not after a day, a week, not even after a month. And if there is no need for food to sustain human life, as if, not and if, as if. At this moment, the majority of the crew goes insane. Some of them just stay in their rooms and pray. Some wander around the station. Some try to commit suicide. But neither point-blank shots with a plasma gun, nor hydrotank diving, nor even simply sitting the veins brings any results. Days pass by, months, or maybe even years. Nobody keeps a track of time. Insane people recover their minds again, and normal people go insane. It repeats many times. In the end, the crew accepts its condition. They start to make up occupations, theatrical stagings, sports tournaments, reading of self-written books. A lot of family couples appear, and many more broke up. It is an infinite flow of time, an enclosed loop of human life, and only the darkness on the radar reminds them of the emptiness outside. But there is an emptiness inside the station too. In the end, people stop living. They just lie in their rooms and sleep. Not 24/7 at first, but as the time goes by, they learn to fall into a trance. Every person has his own dreams. One returns to his childhood, one gets his lost love back, one defends the ideals of humanity with a blast in his hands. Some others just wander in space. Shabby from skirmishes with the enemy, a rescue vessel docks with the station. The boarding squad gets inside. The whole situation looks like a piece of scrap metal which has floated in space for thousands of years. The reactor had shut down a long time ago. There were marks of laser shots on the wall. The equipment was all smashed. They found decayed skeletons of people who died horribly, defending the frontier of humanity in almost every room. And only one cryptic message sent to the headquarters implied that something went wrong. Was wrong. Save us. We just want to die. So I guess this was a big metaphor for these days society or something like that? That is my guess. That is what I get out of it, you know. The no necessity to survive anymore. People go crazy. People had nothing anymore to do. They start doing random bullshit and still they just lie around and do nothing with their lives. So I guess that is maybe. On the other hand, this was really the worst horror story ever. I was not frightened at one point. I finished the story and looked at Uljana. Her face was concealed by the darkness. So that's the story. I blew out the light. Are you fucking for real this one? I mean, at what point was that scary? Maybe I don't get it. Maybe I don't get it. Uljana shrieked, rose up and threw herself towards me. We fell on the floor. Yeah, of course, that had to happen. Unnecessary panty shot, I spot you. What's up with you? Nothing. Her voice sounded very scared. Looks like my story hit the jackpot. I mentally congratulated myself. Great, you scare kids. Woohoo! Yay! Uljana wasn't having fun, though. She embraced me, shivered and sobbed. What's wrong with you, you silly thing? I patted her head. It's just a story. It's not real. You and your stupid stories. Or maybe, of course, the whole thing could just be a metaphor for the camp Sovienok, you know? Over and over, no need to actually live, everything repeats itself again, nothing to do. Maybe that is the metaphor. Maybe that is why Ulyana reacted so harshly. I don't know. Ulyana cuddled up to me more. Or maybe she just wants to cuddle. Are you that scared? Yeah. Frankly, I didn't expect such an honest answer from her. Everything is alright. Time heals all wounds. She'll come down. Listen, Semyon. What? Never mind, it's nothing. She buried her face in my chest. Minutes passed. Okay, I understand. Maybe we should go. And now she's sleeping. I listened. Ulyana snored quietly. Hey, wake up. Can you even fall asleep from fear? Wake up, I said. No reaction. I tried to stand up. Ulyana certainly didn't weigh more than 40 kilograms, but imagine yourself lying under such a weight. It's really not easy to stand up. Motherfucker, I see how she's lying on you. It's pretty easy. I mean, it might be difficult to stand up without awakening her, but that is obviously not your motive. You would think that Ulyana was dead, if not for her breathing. I certainly could make more effort. But then I'd wake her up and it will all start again. Ah, I see. Okay, then it's kinda reasonable. Such an inviable situation. There is the option to wait until she wakes up by herself, though. She certainly won't sleep all the way until morning after such a story. I looked through the window at the starry sky. I wonder if there really is a distant outpost with a ghost crew. My eyes slowly closed and in a moment I fell asleep. Probably not. But maybe, who knows? Who knows? I felt warmth in my dream. It happens sometimes. Your brain is not completely awake yet, but you still feel the sun shining in your eyes. When you wake up, you blink for some time to get used to the light. It was a wonderful morning. The birds were singing, the air was fresh and fragrant, and the world was bathed in daylight. I would stay in bed for some time longer, but something was not quite right. All yesterday evening's events flashed through my mind. Scary and not so scary stories. Ulyana, who was cuddling up to me tightly and snoring. Not quite like a little girl would. But I didn't worry at all. After all, it's still early. Surely no later than 7 or 8 o'clock. Who would want to go to the library that early? I sat back and looked out of the window. In a couple of minutes, the sun will hit right in Ulyana's eyes. That's when you're gonna wake up. That's actually not an intelligent idea. Especially while I definitely expect somebody to come. It's interesting. How did she manage to hug me so tightly? Indeed, I couldn't free myself at all. Theoretically, I was ready to spend 1 or more 2 hours lying this way. Suddenly I heard footsteps. Sounds like trouble. Wake up. Do you hear me? Wake up. Just stand up, you fool. This is embarrassing to even play. Anime shit. I mean, it's not like I don't like anime. I love anime, actually. I like animes. I like a lot of animes. But this is the shitty part of animes, you know? I started carefully, but insistently shaking Ulyana by her shoulders, tried to loosen her grip, but it was all in vain. Meanwhile, the footsteps were getting closer. I have to save us at any cost. Standing up seems unworkable. That's what I learned already. So I decided to crawl. What? Oh, that's so stupid. I don't know. I don't even say. I'm just reading. I am just reading. My moves strongly resembled reservist training, which I never attended. A soldier dragging his injured officer while under an artillery attack. The officer is unconscious, the old soldier exhausted, and layers of barbed wire surround them. I barely managed to... Really? Okay. Okay, I accepted. I accepted for story convenience. I barely managed to crouch behind the bookstand and hide Ulyana when the library opened. Genia was standing on the doorstep. She seems a bit overcommitted to her work, since she's coming in at the crack of dawn. Wait. I heard a familiar voice. Huh? A visitor? So she indeed does have a reason to come here. Why couldn't she come yesterday? Or today? But later? Science waits for nobody. Science. It was electronic. Hold on for a sec. I'll find it. She headed towards us. I barely managed to turn Uljana around so that she was on my back and crawled on all fours to a nearby bookshelf where I collapsed and tried to catch my breath. What was it? Cybernetic mathematics? Or mathematical cybernetics? It seems she didn't notice us. I'd like something about the electronic bombardment of photovoltaics. I see. Are you crazy? Why would we have something military? That's not military at all. For some time they both went silent. Genia. What? Let's go down to the river tonight. What for? Well, I have a lot of things to do. Oh, poor electronic. Come on, get moving. Your robot is waiting for you. Okay. The door slamming was like an epitaph for electronics' love struggles. Poor boy. Didn't deserve that. Seems like he is not a cold-blooded robot after all. I chuckled quietly. Anyway, laughter seems a bit inappropriate. We have to escape the library somehow. Waiting until Genia goes for breakfast seems to be the easiest solution at the moment. She's a communist labor worker after all, not one of electronics' mythical robots. She has to at least eat sometime. Meanwhile, Uljana wasn't going to wake up. At least she's not snoring anymore. The library was silent. I didn't see Genia, but was more or less satisfied with the situation. All of a sudden, incomprehensible noises came from her desk. Clicks, cracks, and music started. Soviet anthem? Just great. It would have been alright if not for Genia, who started to sing along. Soyuz, la 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 la, united forever in friendship and labor. I could only envy her patriotic feelings. Unfortunately, she had some vocal issues. The Soviet pop scene definitely didn't miss out on a star called Genia. The anthem ended, and an unfamiliar voice started to talk about the overachievements of a 5-year plan of crop harvesting. It was a radio, obviously. I started listening attentively. Maybe they would say something interesting. But after the list of agricultural achievements, the voice started to disappear and was gone in a few minutes. Signal disturbance, probably. Genia stood up and headed towards us. Once again. The situation's hitting rock bottom. My bad. I managed to unclench Uljana's grip with a titanic struggle. I was free to go, but was so cramped from all this crouching that I didn't have the strength to get up. And suddenly all that works? That's kind of strange. It's time to prepare for the worst and start thinking of excuses. Suddenly the step stopped. Seems like Genia was standing on the other side of the bookshelf. I heard the sound of books rustling. Probably she's looking for something. She took a book and returned to her desk. The door slammed open. Semyon? Have you seen him? Olga was definitely out of breath. Uljana! No! Xenia answered with surprise. The door was slammed as loudly as the previous time. Seems like everyone is looking for us, and Genia will start to look around the library. But fortunately, that very moment the bell, alright, he didn't say it was a whistle, it's a bell, but still it's not a bell, sounded in the distance, calling pioneers for breakfast. Genia, being a punctual person, decided not to linger, and left the library in a few minutes. There was only me and Uljana in the library. Then it was time to decide what to do with her. No longer afraid of being caught, I bent down and shouted in her ear. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. I wonder what he said in Russian. Also, I never heard eggs and bakey for that version. You know? I only know wakey wakey hands of snakey, but maybe that's just me and my perverted internet knowledge. She instantly jumped and started to look around. Noticing me, Uljana's eyes widened. What are you doing here? Playing at spies. Huh? Never mind. Did you sleep well? Yes. Seems she's not yet completely conscious. Breakfast? Yes. We left the library. At last. Now it was certain that I won't have to explain to anyone what, how, and why of Uljana and myself being in there all night. Sorry for falling asleep like that. It's alright. I guess my words sounded too insincere, because she looked at me with disbelief. Wait a minute. What were you doing in there all this time? You wouldn't believe me. Wait a moment. That means... No, it doesn't. Like, for real. Uljana giggled, stepped away from me and shouted loudly. I'm the first for breakfast. Okay. I thought, okay, never mind. Maybe it's, again, my dirty mind. Not a big surprise after such a deep sleep. I said, but Uljana already couldn't hear me, being far ahead. It was unusually crowded near the canteen, so is that something I know, or is this skippable? No, it's not skippable. Okay. Of course, there was no other place in the camp that the pioneers loved as much as the canteen, but why were they all crowding on the porch? I came closer and tried to find out what's happening. It looked like all the camp had gathered at the porch. There were all the familiar girls, Olga and Electronic. They were having a lively discussion. I drew closer. Ah, Semyon. Where on earth have you been? I have waited for you all night long and have been searching since early morning. Uljana told me that you left the library together yesterday. I looked at Uljana. She was grinning acrimoniously. Well, we'll deal with this later. Have you seen Shirik today? Okay, but this is the part we'll know. Oh god, now we have to do the Shirik part again. Hopefully it's better with Uljana than with... Maybe with... I can imagine it being funnier with Uljana, maybe, than with Slavia. On the other hand, we learned that Uljana is a scaredy cat, so maybe not. God, and we're only 26 minutes in. Oh well, I finish the episode tomorrow. It's too warm and I'm too tired for today. But you won't realize this. For you, it's just will go on at the horror part. Okie dokie, here we go. So, we don't go with Lena, we don't go with Slavia, we certainly don't go alone or with Alisa. We go with Uljana, because that's what we do this time. Count me in. I looked at Uljana, astonished. Her thirst for adventure seemed to have no limits. I wonder if this will be more interesting with Uljana. I mean, Uljana will be probably more scared than Slavia, but Slavia was already pretty scared. And basically it was a bit boring, so let's see. Look, night, ghosts, an old camp, it's great. That is one of the better tracks of the game, I have to say though. I don't really think it is fitting for a pioneer is missing situation, but the track itself is pretty cool. On the one hand, such company always promises trouble, but on the other hand, it feels safer going there. Perfect! If I was Olga, I would never let her go out of the camp. Like, for real. She'll never come back. On the other hand, this is some parallel universe. Having said our goodbyes to the other girls and Olga, we were left alone. Do you consider this just an entertaining walk? Well, yes. What's the matter? Uljana giggled. Never mind, really. I sighed. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna fetch a flashlight. Okay. Good idea, actually. I was just about to suggest that myself. It seemed I would not only have to visit an abandoned camp at night, but also look after a fidgety child. Well, since it's Uljana, I should be twice as cautious. I don't remember, did I mention that in this part and in the part before? I can see this going in a direction like, he refuses her. But I start getting the feeling that he refuses her and later will end up with her anyway. But not in the real world, but already in the camp. That would be... I mean... Let's see. This scenario depends very much on the execution. So let's judge it by the execution. If this is what the game is going for, I don't know. I told you what I know in this or in the previous part. I'm not really sure anymore. I should be twice as cautious. Electronic had told us the building was built right after the war. It looked like a kindergarten, or like a barracks I expected, and definitely could hold less pioneers than today's camp. It had been abandoned for about 20 years. Uljana skipped forward as if everything was just a game to her. I was ill at ease. Actually, that was normal for a person in my situation. The night forest with scary animals and birds eager to swoop down on you. The full moon and this whole other world I had come into not too long ago. I might be better off all alone, without needing to look after Uljana, who was running in front of me. How hasn't she tripped over something yet? Listen, be careful. What? She turned around so quickly that I shivered. Nothing. You may hurt yourself. Are you worried about me? Of course I am. I mean, that is normal in such a situation. Uljana pouted. Listen. Yeah, but on the other hand, that she is interested in him and he not yet in her, kinda with the hammer, you know? They try to kinda hammer it into my brain. I get it. I decided, but that's just a minor thing. I'm into this one. I'm really into this one. The scenario is interesting. I just hope it's not ending too pervertedly or something like this. That is my main concern, my personal main concern. I decided to continue our conversation. It's more relaxing and less scary this way. But I think I already mentioned that last episode, or this episode. That's the problem. I can't remember because I ended last episode in the middle yesterday, and now I don't remember on which episode this was. But I already said, 14 and 17. Okay, in the real world he's older, but she is probably older as well in the real world. Or let's imagine that at least. 14 and 17, that's not like it's something very bad, or I don't know. On the other hand, she's not really behaving like she was already adult enough for a relationship, you know what I mean? It's a bit difficult. Well, we'll see. But what is it about the old camp you were saying back there at the square? I decided to continue our conversation. It's more relaxing and less scary this way. Listen. Uljana pouted. What? Oh, I'm washing the... Oh. I pushed the wrong button, my bad. Yeah, it's a really scary place. They said that all the pioneers died there and became ghosts which guard their last earthly refugee. Last time I heard another story. What did they die from? It was kind of hard to believe her scary tales. How should I know? I wasn't even born back then. But you say it so confidently. I got information from a reliable source. And where would that be from? From Elisa? Not gonna tell you, probably from Elisa. So what happened next? They died and became ghosts? That's all. What do you mean that's all? And now the souls of the dead pioneers roam around the camp and take everyone who dares to enter the world of the dead. Wow. Okay, move along. Time passed. We went deeper into the depths of the woods, where the trees enclosed everything. Suddenly I realized that the forest had gone completely silent. As if the night birds had hidden and waiting for something, and the insects had dug into the ground. Even the wind had died away. I imagined that the streams of moonlight breaking through the thick foliage were ringing like plucked strings. Jesus, that was a sentence. At last, trees parted, and we walked out to a large glade. In the middle of it was an old building resembling a kindergarten. It was shrouded in thick fog. I learned this time I won't do this one again. You know what I mean. I'm just reading the shit out of it. Normally. It looked like we'd come out into a cemetery, and the old camp building at its center was a crypt. According to Uljana, there were pioneer souls roaming here. Truly, it was like a mass grave. I shivered and clenched the flashlight tighter. A dreadful place, to tell you the truth. Oh, come on! She patted me on the back cheerfully, which only made me more scared. Strange. So she was so scared about his story, but she isn't scared because of this? Maybe she really just acted when he told her story. The story was when he told her this story. And his story wasn't creepy anyway, so there you go. I was about to move forward when the moon showed among the clouds, illuminating the glade, the old camp building, and us. Under the light, everything seemed not so old. The crumbling brickwork, rusty slide, merry-go-round, the few panes of glass that miraculously remained in some of the windows, they all became more vivid. I think that is the same text as in Slavia's part, at least it seems similar. I started to imagine that unknown monsters came out of the glade from the forest, a place of eternal darkness where even the moon can't reign. I hope that they fear the light, like vampires. Though maybe they could turn into giant wolves at full moon, like werewolves. Why have you stopped? I am thinking. About what? Why would Shurik want to come to such a place? How should I know? We'll ask him when we find him. Yes, obviously. I mumbled and followed Ulyana. She walked more carefully now, looking under her feet, stopping occasionally, and even looking back several times. That's natural. In some places the grass reached her chest height, and nobody knew what could there be on the ground. Scrap metal, stones, shattered glass. We finally reached the door. Ulyana stopped and said, "Well, here we are." As if you had won a race. This isn't a game. You're... What? Boring. Oh my god. This face. This face is too awesome. This face is too awesome. It was... You know what? Screw it. I said this part of the game is boring. Screw it. This face was totally worth it. Oh my god, this is amazing. This is so amazing. And I'm actually like 30 and something minutes in, so I can stop here on this face. That is so awesome. Okay, so thank you everybody for watching. Come back for the next part and I'll see you then. Bye bye.